I love big moments. Birthdays, vacation, reaching a goal I really wanted to hit. And don't even get me started on epic adventures. They're like my favorite things. Hello, my friend. If you're new here, my name's Zach. I love highlights and don't really love the mundane that can happen in life. But here's the problem with that stance. The mundane is most of life. And if we're hating on those and only living for the highlights, that's a low-lived life. Today we're going to talk about 3 ways I've turned those lowlights into highlights, and you can too. Number 1, dig to find meaning. In every task, there can be meaning if you dig deep enough. If you didn't know this about me, I own a pizza restaurant. And years ago, I bought it. I've owned it 20 years in just a couple months. I know, I look so young. But 20 years ago, I bought this restaurant. I was so excited. It was everything to me. And it was going to provide for my family. I mean, I worked like a dog. I slept in the back of the store. Don't tell the health department. I may or may not have washed my hair in the back sink, not during business hours, but it was worth it until one day it wasn't. See, slowly over time, my job felt meaningless. Have you ever been there where your job just felt like it was nothing more than a paycheck? And so instead of viewing myself as a business owner, I started to just view myself as just a pizza maker. And that's what my mind would say, just a pizza maker. So therefore, I didn't really like the job, surprisingly. But here's something cool that God did in my life. See, I love to restore. I love to restore specifically people. If I can play a part in a restoration process, it brings me life and energy. What you may not know is the word restaurant means to restore the soul. I didn't know that. And one day I learned that, and I think it was a divine moment with God that I started to think about my job differently. What if instead of just a pizza maker, what if I was playing the part in a family, sitting around a table, restoring their souls, talking about their day, connecting with each other. And so I stopped viewing myself as just a pizza maker. And I got to see it even dicing vegetables and doing all the grunt work of a pizza maker, that I was playing this part of a family restoring together, an individual restoring together. And the job began to have meaning and purpose. What if the dishes weren't just washing dishes? What if you could tie it to a meaning that matters to you? Whether it's serving your family, whether it's having a clean place, whatever it is for you that brings some excitement. You know, when my kids were little, one of the mundane tasks that began to be something beautiful for me was changing diapers. Gross, right? A disgusting thing. I don't do well with smells. I would be like gagging on some of those diaper smells. But it was my favorite activity. You know why? Because kids are alert and awake when they're that age, when you're changing their diaper. And so instead of changing the diaper, I was having a moment of connecting with my child and playing with them, locking eyes with them and talking to them. Turn mundane into meaning. Can you dig into your daily tasks just a little more than you have to bring some meaning to that moment? Number 2, everything with excellence. I want to read a verse to you to show you why. In Colossians 3:23-24, it says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving." Man, if we really did this, Wouldn't it change things? Like God was sitting there watching us. Like we were serving him. That everything was for him. Man, I would do things a little differently. I'd walk a little taller. I mean, even those interactions with people, sometimes when we interact with people, we can treat it cavalier, like it doesn't matter. But what if that interaction, what if you treated it like you were talking with Jesus? That's who it was. See, in the United States, we're such a celebrity culture, right? We're constantly looking at people. I mean, frankly, if Michael Jordan walked in this room, I might pass out. But what if I treated everyone with that importance? What if I treated everyone as the importance of someone that I looked up to? What if I did that task like it was unto the Lord? What if you were folding the laundry like you were serving God? See, I think once we have this mentality and we start doing things with excellence, it brings meaning back to the small thing. Number 3, radically present. Listen, when we do something that really doesn't require a lot of brain power, you know what disappears? Our brain. And we just go. Like, have you ever driven home from work and not really realized how you got there because your brain wasn't fully engaged? I have. Look out if you're driving with me on the freeway. We fall into this trap all the time. We're half doing tasks. Our brains aren't fully engaged. And I think a lot of times what it is we drift, like when we're driving, or we get worried about something and stirred up. Like this morning, I was doing dishes, reliving a conversation I had yesterday about 5 or 6 times and what I could have said differently and how I could have said it. Have you been there? This is called anxiety. And this is when we're stirred up. That's called spinning mind. And we are going to think our way out of this problem. Maybe have the fantasy argument and say the exact thing that you wish you would have said. Here's the problem. When we are anxious, we are blind to other people and we are blind to God. Remember, number 2 was that we're doing something for him. But when we're anxious, we're blind to him. To become radically present, we need to notice that our mind has drifted and name what it is that we're worried about. For me, I was worried that I had hurt a friend. That maybe if I would have said something a little differently, it would have landed a little better. I don't know. But I was making up a story. Here's the thing. I did not know whether I offended them or not. And that's the thing that we do with anxiety. Like, we live out this overblown story. All of a sudden, we went from I may have hurt their feelings to now they have rejected me and they're never going to talk to me and all this other stuff, right? I have a good imagination. I know you do too. But we got to notice we're anxious. Name what it is we're anxious about. And then we diffuse it. So you can go and do something that recharges you. Or here's the thing. If you're worried about what you said to someone, ask them. Did I hurt your feelings? Did I offend you? I feel like I didn't land what I was trying to say. Are we good? See, we need to be radically present to be able to do things with excellence, to be able to see the meaning underneath it. And this morning, for me, I needed to notice and name, but my diffusing was I had to go for a run. I had to do something that recharged me and move my body so that I could recalibrate my mind. And then I happened to see the friend later and asked, we're good. Just in case you're wondering, I won't leave you on the edge. But how do we come back to the here and now? Is we think about what we're thinking about instead of going on autopilot. See, here's the thing about mundane moments. Mundane moments can be divine moments. But often we don't see that they were divine moments till after the fact. See, for me, sometimes I've heard that it was a hug I gave that I didn't think really mattered, that someone really needed, or a listening ear. Or an impactful moment for me was watching my grandma care for my grandpa in his dying years and how patient she was with him, doing mundane tasks. Marked her grandson of how I want to be, how I want to serve. See, people are watching, even when you don't think they are. And those mundane moments might not be mundane to them. So I hope this video helps you find 3 different ways to make the mundane matter. But I will tell you this, your willpower and my willpower will only get us so far. See, we need to be connected into the vine. See, it says that God is the vine and we are the branches. And apart from him, we can do nothing. I'm just going to pretend you said nothing with me. And so here's your reminder right here. Just click on this video that apart from him, we can do nothing. And I'll have some tips for you on how you can connect back into God so that you can make it every moment matter. God bless you in your journey as you do everything as unto the Lord.